Greetings and welcome back to the Galley of the Sun. Today, another entry in our Wide World of Food series. It's Mexican again. Oh God, we love Mexican. Today we're going to be making Carne Adobada, which is a lot like chili Colorado that we've made several times. Now, chili Colorado, the chili does not mean chili like a chili dog. It's chili like a chili pepper. And the Colorado doesn't mean the state of Colorado. It means the color red. That's typically made with beef. You can make it with pork, and I think we've done 2 different episodes with chili Colorado. We made just straight chili Colorado to serve over rice. Oh, incredible. And it was so damn good that we did it again, and we did put it into enchiladas. This is similar, but it has a lot more fresh ingredients, and it uses pork. So what I've done prep-wise so far, I have taken 6 guajillo chilies, 2 ancho chilies, and 2 mulatto chilies. And if you watched us, you know we love the mulatto chili. And I've de-seeded and de-stemmed them. I've also taken a 3-pound bone-in pork roast, and I've chopped it up into bite-sized chunks. So let's get into the rest of the prep. Here I have a poblano pepper. We're going to finely dice that. And I'm going to use my Dow Strong 10¼ inch chef's knife. I love this thing. Now, if you're new to the channel and you see I'm talking about dried chilies and I'm talking about fresh chilies, oh my gosh, it's going to be spicy. It's not. It's not. The girls would kill me if it was. We love flavor. The girls don't like the heat, so I tend to make things that may have a little bite, but that's it. Just a little bite. It's not going to set your hair on fire. All right, going to cut this into thin strips and then go ahead and dice those. Now we're going to do the same thing to a red bell pepper, 2 jalapenos, making sure that I de-seed them and get the veins out of them. That's where the heat is. And then the recipe down below, and by the way, loyal viewers, as always, all the ingredients, their amounts, the directions are down below in the description section. It says to use 1 large onion. Alas, I've got 2 medium to small ones, so that's what I'm going to use. So we'll get those diced up. Another note on the jalapenos and the poblano peppers: if you don't like the heat but you like flavor like us, make sure you're frying your peppers that 1, don't have scarring on the outside, and number 2, no signs of red. Both of those are indicators that that pepper is going to be hotter than its neighbors that don't have the scars and are all green. All right, that's it. That's all the prep work. Now let's go to the stove and start making magic happen. All right, I have my Dutch oven on medium heat. It's been there for about 5 minutes. Now it's time to get those chilies toasted. Chilies in. This is going to take about 30 to 60 seconds just till they get aromatic. You do not want to burn these because seeding them and de-stemming them is such a pain in the ass. You don't want to have to do it twice. So you go in. We'll keep stirring the whole time. Let them go until they start curling up a little bit and getting fragrant, and then we're pulling those out. All right, I'm happy with that. I can smell them. Pull this off the heat. Now I'm going to tear my chilies into bits, put them into a spice grinder, and grind them down. You can use a food processor if you don't have a spice mill. Basically what we're doing here is making our own fresh chili powder. All right, as I said before, none of these chilies are especially spicy, but after ripping those apart with your hands, now is not the time to adjust your contact lenses or to scratch your private parts. Wash your hands before you do that.
Logical.
Now we'll get these ground up. Your spice grinder or food processor may or may not fully turn these into a powder. That's okay, just get them as small as you can. All right, I tire of this exercise, so now we take our chili powder, we pour it into a measuring cup. What you want to do is end up here with 3/4 of a cup of chili powder. So whatever you are lacking, make that up with some chili powder. I selected ancho chili powder because it's a milder chili powder. And as I said, the girls don't like the heat. There we are, 3/4 cup. Now we can set that aside and get to working on some other stuff. Back over to the stove. Now we're gonna get the Dutch oven back on medium-high heat. We're gonna add some either olive or avocado oil. I'm using avocado oil here. And then we're gonna brown up our pork as necessary in batches. So simply get some good color on them. So we'll get that done and then we'll see you again for the next step. All right, just about time to take the pork out. So let's go over to the stove and do that.
Subtle.
Got some beautiful color on them and a lot of fond in the bottom of the pot. So now we have our pork out, a little bit more avocado oil. And then in with our onions, bell pepper, poblano pepper, and jalapenos. We're gonna cook these down for about 5 minutes and make sure that we're scraping the bottom of the pot to get all that fond up. As they release their water, it's gonna help you do this. That is smelling absolutely amazing. But we're gonna make it even better here soon. All right, those veggies have been cooking for about 4 minutes. Now I'm gonna add my garlic. And you know, here at the Galley of the Sun, we're not shy about our garlic. Gonna cook that just until it gets real aromatic. Should take 30 to 60 seconds. And we're there. Now I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of flour. We're gonna stir that in and cook that for, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes. Make sure we cook out that raw flour taste. Now goes in our chicken broth. As always, we're using Better Than Bouillon. Love that stuff. We're also gonna add the juice of 1½ oranges. And now goes in the rest of the ingredients. The chili powder that we made and supplemented. Some Mexican oregano. Ground coriander. Ground cumin. Some of Spiceology's achote powder. Some of Spiceology's vampire killer. Some diced chipotles and adobo. And I was down to the bottom of the jar, so I just added some water. Make sure we get all that goodness. And another spoonful of that goodness. Love chipotles. We'll get that all stirred together. Oh, God, that smells good. Now make sure you give it a good stir here, because since we made that chili powder out of our fresh dried chilies, it's going to want to clump together. So you want to make sure that you get all that broken up. Now we'll add a little bit of salt and pepper. We're going to return our pork to the mixture. We're going to get that all stirred in. Make sure we're at a boil, and then we're going to reduce the heat down to a simmer and let this go for about 2 hours. And oh, my friends, those flavors are going to meld incredibly. So we'll see in about 2 hours when it's time for the next step. See you then. Okay, the stuff has been simmering for 2 hours. Now it's time for the finishing touches. Oh, smelling absolutely amazing. So, last things we got to add is a couple tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, and then 1.5 tablespoons of honey. We'll get that stirred in. We'll get this plated up and get some judgment from the director. Alrighty, here we are for the judgment. So you can eat this with rice like you saw in the intro picture and the thumbnails, or you can eat it with tortillas, and that's how the director has chosen to do this. So here is our judgment. How do we do?
Very good.
All right, so it had jalapenos in it. It had poblano peppers in it. It had all sorts of chilies in it. How's the spice level?
I don't taste any.
There you go. Okay, so if you do want to add some fire to it, substitute those jalapenos for serranos, or you can not de-seed the jalapenos like we did. But if you just want flavor, cook it just like I did.
Very good.
Thank you, my dear.
You're welcome.
All right. Hey, thank you so much for joining us today. Until we see you next time, fair winds and following seas.